And I am queer AF.
I'm queer AF.
AF, right? That's what you said?
For real? I would never say AF in my life.
I was ready to curse like...
Yo, I'm Angel Haze.
My name is Mykki Blanco.
I'm Saucy Santana.
My name is Fly Young Red.
It's me, Killa.
This is your boy Kicks the Killa, and I am queer AF.
And I'm queer as...
Bottoms taking over the world for the 2022. Yo, do not use that soundbite. I cannot. Queer culture has always been impactful and always been present in hip hop. There's always been an influence of queer energy in hip hop, the same way there's been an influence in queer people in your own families.
Cardi B, hairdressers, trends. Young Miami, stylist is a part of the LGBT community. JT stylist is a part of the LGBT community. We already have so much influence, and now that we get time to shine.
Queer hip hop artists, I feel like we're not just standing in a box. We're like everywhere.
We're building a platform. We're all pioneers. So I believe by us being more visible, we're letting more people in and showing people that we here, we ain't going nowhere.
We're gonna perform at the Hip Hop Awards.
Look at Lil Nas. Watching this boy just troll everyone is the most hilarious shit you could ever see.
He's making it okay to be bold. For him to just be out there kissing a boy and dancing on a boy or whatever, like, hey, get used to it.
Nas, look at brother. Look at brother.
Nas is a global black, brown-skinned pop star. I think that everyone could agree that there's just a certain frequency that artists like Young M.A. and Nas, have kind of like have reached. I almost feel like I'm in like a time warp. Things that felt so taboo when I was doing them are so readily, accepted. Bottom line, it's cool. What if a Nas X had already existed when I began making music? How cool would it have been for me?
I feel like if there was no Frank Ocean, there would be no Lil Nas X. And Frank Ocean was probably one of the first real times a man in hip hop said, I like other men.
I couldn't have had these conversations without the artists that came before me, whether we're talking about the Sylvesters or the RuPauls. These very visible gay black men maneuvering through media, not just in hip hop, just media in general. Lil Nas X won't be the last. It's a constant conversation. And I think what's happening now in this landscape couldn't have happened when I was coming up, but I'm happy that I'm able to have seen it in my own lifetime.
These are things that haven't been done before.
I first fell in love with hip hop. I can't even give you a date. I'm black. It's kind of ingrained in us, whether you go into your auntie's house, she's listening to the new DMX, or you going to your friend's house, which you hear on the street. It's just kind of just in our culture.
I started getting into hip hop when I was around in 6th grade. The first time I really got into hip hop is when I started listening to Nicki Minaj. Like, Nicki Minaj really made it do what it do for me. I'm like, I'm finna just go home and write a rap. And I went home, wrote a rap, and I just been writing raps.
I first fell in love with hip hop when we were in high school and my brother used to freestyle. So my brother came home one day and he was getting on me. He was getting on my tail. So I went upstairs and I just started writing. And I just wrote so much. I wrote everything about him. I talked about all kinds of stuff. And when I rapped the rap about him, it was like, everybody was like, yo, you can really rap. I first fell in love with hip hop. I think I was in 4th grade when the Fugees first came out with their rendition of Killing Me Softly. Well, also Lauryn Hill, period, because I remember I was in Atlanta, Georgia at Six Flags in Austell. I remember being in the car and that lyric, it's funny how money changes situations. Miscommunication leads to complications. But yeah, those two moments were really the first kind of aha hip hop moments for me.
My favorite rapper is Gucci Mane. Once I moved to Florida, that's when I got into the Trinas, the Gucci Mane. That's when I fell in love with the hip hop that's my sound and what I can relate to today.
I first fell in love with hip hop when I was 11. I moved to New Jersey and there was this kid who lived downstairs from me in this duplex and he burned me a CD. And on the CD there was Eminem, there was all of D12, there was 50 Cent. What I love the most about hip hop is that you can say the most. I feel like it's a hidden poetry in life. And we were the only ones who found it. And I love that about hip hop.
Coming to my own as a queer person in the 90s, I would never write off an entire genre of music and say this is a homophobic genre of music. Because, you know, there's homophobia in rock and roll, there's homophobia in jazz, you know, these are genres made up of people, and people are not perfect.
When I think about when I first started making music, and this is in 2012, when I entered into the world of hip hop at this time, every genre of music was homo and transphobic.
It's only a problem when a queer artist is making money or a queer artist is on billboards. Because there's so many queer artists out here that nobody says anything about. But when somebody steps into their territory or somebody hits the billboards or somebody's making money, I feel like they feel like that's taking money out of their pockets, so they have to attack the person.
Remember how people were talking crazy about Frank Ocean? Like crazy, like can't listen to this. Feels like he's doing gay stuff in my ears. And I'm like, bro, you loved him 2 months ago. Like, this is crazy. This is nuts.
Y'all ain't gotta do that. We in our own lane talking to people who wanna hear us. It's not even the same thing. So just let all that go, man. Let that go.
When I started making music, it also was the blossoming of my transgender identity. I was presenting fully as femme. And so, you know, I remember doing a South by Southwest, and I remember performing, and, you know, when I got off stage, people were almost afraid to congratulate me.
I just maneuver in the rooms where I'm accepted and where people are gonna respect me and not have me get out of my pocket, you know?
We all have to stick together in hip hop. Queer, black, blue, purple. So even though we're queer, we're a part of hip hop too, and we all have to be treated equal and get the same opportunities to kill the stages, get the same opportunities to get number ones, get the same opportunities to receive these awards.
What I would want to say to, you know, the whole hip hop community, peace and love, keep up the good work. And also we're here, y'all just gotta get used to it. And we love y'all, so love us. We love y'all, so reciprocate.
The reason I choose not to let the state of hip hop bother me is I have badder bitches than most of the men I know.
A lot of hip hop, like a lot of other genres of music, is kind of rooted in patriarchal thinking, and homophobia and transphobia come out of patriarchy.
A lot of people can't get past the blocks in their minds and their biases that they were, conditioned with.
Stereotypes, being a queer artist, I think in the harmful community is that we're too overwhelming and over the top that it can't be stomached.
Have I ever been told to tone it down? I'm sure I have, but I've always identified as a rapper who happens to be gay. My sexuality, just like my race, I can't expunge that. Like, it's very visible, but that doesn't eclipse or negate my talent.
When I put on the hair, it's an attention grabber. And once I grab your attention and you listen to my music, for me, it's a way to invite you in. It's not something that I'm doing to drop jaws. At the end of the day, somebody gonna respect it when you have talent.
So all you can do is listen to our story. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But we're past that coming off stage.
I think it's a privilege to be able to speak for people who don't feel like they have a voice. And it doesn't scare me because my identity isn't anything I fear. Like, I bitches, and it does not matter to me. And I move on.
And I mean, how many times have you come home from college and you had to deal with a homophobic uncle? You pull their asses together and then you continue to eat your turkey leg. That's kind of what hip hop is. It's like nobody's perfect. You have the conversation, have the dialogue. Either you want to f with that person or not. Life goes on.
I made a song called Good Day, and I play Good Day every morning when I wake up in the morning. I walk around with my confidence on a million. Don't let it bother me when the people be tripping. I'ma have a good day. I just listen and I just think. And literally as I'm listening to the song, my whole life is just flashing before my eyes. I'm just thinking about the future, what this song could probably take me and what it could probably do for other people.
When you feel as if the world is trying to take opportunities away from you, you do everything in your power to make sure that you create your own opportunities for yourself.
For me to be a queer artist that maneuvers through hip hop and has been labeled as a pioneer, I think it's great. It makes me feel like I did something with my life and with my voice.
Coming from a boy from Chicago, nothing, trying to be something, I wake up and I really be like, dang, this is really happening. I'm really doing this because I remember at a time where I wish to be in the shoes that I'm in now.
It's important that I have a platform. I use it.
Angel. We are, as LGBT culture, queer hip hop, I believe that we're letting people in because we're more visible.
Nobody was going to take away the opportunity for financial security, for prosperity, and for visibility.
Kid is coming. Me, Kid Ken double N, and nobody stopping him.
It's an experience because there's never been anyone like me in hip hop before. There's never been anyone with the courage to say the things that bother them, to call out the things, to even speak to the places that I speak to.
I think that's what kind of helps me trailblaze through, is that people see that with me, it's not a gimmick. I'm just being me. I always tell people, do you. Somebody gonna like it, somebody gonna with it.
In 20 years, I believe it's not even gonna be an issue. I believe that it's gonna be about just music. I don't think that, you know, your sexuality, I don't think that's gonna be a problem.
I feel like we're like the chosen ones in some kind of way because we're just so different. In this time of day, me waking up, seeing what cooler artists is doing for the hip hop game right now, it's like still unbelievable, but I gotta believe it because I'm living it. But it's something that I always dreamed about doing, and now I'm doing it. So it feels good.
We're no longer confined by that prototype of the 90s of like, this is what a man is supposed to be, or this is what a woman is supposed to be, or this is what a they, them, or however you identify is supposed to be. I think people are just expressing themselves, which I think is great. You're only on the planet once, so do what it is you want to do, you know?
I feel like we're just stamping the culture. We're literally everywhere. We're in TVs, we're in movies, we're in commercials. We're here on Queer AF. Like, we're not going nowhere.